Hello there, my Glow Up family. Hi, this is the Glow Up Method. Welcome. This is the place where we talk all things adulting, all things growing into this person we are personally proud of, right? Like, it's one thing for me to be proud of you. It's a whole different experience of you being proud of you. So hello, my name is Natasha and I am very, very excited to be here today with you. Welcome. Thank you for showing up. Not for me, but for you. And yeah, bonus, you showed up for me as well. But I want to talk a little bit about, first off, let's start this, about being proud. For so many years, I outsourced this wanting of other people to be proud of me, this wanting of feeling accepted by other people, this wanting and yearning to be loved by somebody else. And I thought, in order for me to feel loved, in order for me to be, do something that makes someone proud, it had to all be external. And what this journey has taught me is all the things I sought from the outside, all those things that I outsourced to people who, quite frankly, were not qualified for the position, I had it within me the whole time. And yes, I did not feel like I was worthy of being, loved. I did not feel I was worthy of being proud of, and I certainly wasn't those things to myself. And this journey has been so liberating, so freeing, so filled with compassion, growth, and everything, because I started to love myself. I started to believe and know without a reasonable doubt I'm worthy and I deserve to be happy. And I matter. I literally matter. And if not for anybody else in this world, for myself. I remember this one argument I had with Chris. And he one time said, and that's why nobody likes you. And for many years, right? We all say things, later he apologized, whatever. We all say things in haste, right? Especially when we are two broken people who did not know the proper way to communicate, the healthiest versions, right? So you say something like this, and for so many years, if he would say that, that was true. Nothing maybe perhaps he would say, if he would say, oh, you're pretty or whatever, that wasn't true. But you tell me that my behavior is the why nobody likes me, and it is the God all knowing being truth, right? So it's very selective of when I believed him, and I believed him or anybody else when something negative was said to me. And the truth of the matter is, for so long I believed that. And then I had this realization, whether it be from a book, somebody, one of my gurus, one of my mentors, some epiphany occurred in my mind and my mouth. And I was like, that's not true. Because if everybody doesn't like me, that's fine. But that can't be true because I like me. So that was one of the biggest gifts of myself, learning to like and then eventually love myself, was it can't be true. It cannot be that everybody doesn't like me, because I'm somebody the last time I looked. And if I like me, then what you say is not true. I do not need to accept that as the truth. And that really shifted and gave me power to know that I didn't need to change who I was. I didn't need to adapt in order to conform to make everybody or even somebody like me, because guess what? I already like me. And if that meant I was going to be alone in this world, walking it on my own path, and which again, everything, I had a lot of friends, it wasn't true. It was said in haste, but like I said, for so many years, I believed that to be true, and I adapted, if there was somebody who withdrew from me, for example, my mom, right? So my mom left for her own reasons. Of course, my mom wanted to be with her kids, right? But she wasn't well, and the situation wasn't well. And with the tools she had at the time, she really believed and decided that leaving was the best scenario for her kids. That was a mother's love for her. of course she's young. She's like a very young 20-year-old, and she's got 2 kids and a significant other. Like, again, I don't have the true story. One says one cheated, one says another. There was some kind of infidelity. There was some kind of jealousy, some kind of, I knew the relationship from what I saw and it was extremely volatile. It was extremely, at times even violent and toxic and chaotic. So yeah, probably they weren't the best together. Didn't negate the fact that they loved one another, but with the tools they had at the time, it wasn't the healthiest of scenarios. And so she left for whatever her reasons were. And really, I do believe now, yes, throughout my lifetime, I did not believe that. I did not understand how a mom could leave her kids. I did not understand how a mom said she was going to show up and then didn't. I did not understand. I knew the world through my eyes. I knew the world through my experience. But what maturity and wisdom and experience has allowed me to see the situation with grace, has allowed me to see that I do not get it right all the time with my kids. I make mistakes frequently. I do show up the best I can with the tools I have at that time, and sometimes it's not the best, and sometimes it's amazing. But I know I never plan to harm my kids. I know I always have their best interest at heart, even though they may not agree with whatever I'm saying or doing, or understand fully, because they haven't lived the way I have lived, right? And so I know that to be true. And so I believe this to be true of my mom. Like, I believe she never wanted to leave. She never wanted to harm me. Those things were unfortunate effects of her decision. And so, I think for so many years, I blamed myself. Like, if somebody left, it was a direct because you know what? This was the 80s. There wasn't a big conversation about it. It just kind of was, and it happened. And one day your mom's there and living your happy family of 4, and the next thing you know, she's gone. It was just fast and sudden. And what's my dad going to say? Like, he himself is a young 20-year-old male who all of a sudden is not only dad, but mom. And he's got to worry about grocery shopping and cooking and making sure we have clothes and cleaning us, right? Because we're changing sizes pretty quick. We're little, and he's in survival mode here. Like, he didn't sign up to be the single dad of the year. He went into this with a woman he loved, thinking they were going to create this beautiful family together, which they did, and they figured it would last forever, and it didn't. And so, in hindsight, the guy is just in survival mode. I have kids who are his age and even beyond, and I'm like, listen, you struggle sometimes to put the dishes in the dishwasher, and that is a complaint. Like, I think about what my dad was having to go through at your age. Like, get it together. You got the dishes. Like, we don't need a play-by-play. Figure it out, right? Like, as this guy's figuring out dishes, finances, rent, where we live, and how we get into school, how we getting home, who's watching us, who's not. Like, how do I get to still be a kid? And all the things that he had to experience in his life experience, right? And so there's not a lot of conversation about how are your feelings, like, how are you doing today? Your mom really does love you even though she's not here. Like, there wasn't, number one, time for it. There wasn't the dialogues that were happening then. And single men weren't typically, even still, they're not, it's usually single moms. Like, there are a few out there, single dads, single grandparents. Like, it is out there, but it was definitely not the norm of the 80s. And so kudos to him for stepping up, because again, life is about choices. He too could have been like, I'm out, and sent us to grandparents, aunties, split my brother. So many things could have occurred, and he stepped up and did the best he could with the tools he had at the time. Was it perfect? Heck no. But I'm not perfect either. And having been a mom who had kids, and my kids I still was pretty young. My oldest was born when I was 23. My second was born when I was 25. I think about it, I was like, oh my gosh, like, when my dad was 25, like, I was 9 years old, and I remember just when I had the 2 that were also 2 years apart, because my little brother and I are 2 years apart, I was like, how did he do this? Like, I am a female. I have somebody here to support. This is really hard. Like, how did he do this? And it gave me this grace and compassion for his experience that I didn't have in the moment, right? So again, we go back to this whole perspective thing, right? And so I think so many times throughout my life, the relationships that I had were independent of anybody else. Like it was just something I did wrong or something I did right that had those relationships in my life. So I must have did something wrong because my mom left. I must be doing something right because my dad's still here. And so I really learned how to gauge and felt like my worthiness, my love, whatever, was based like a mere reflection of what somebody else was going. And it didn't take into consideration their own experience, their own things that they were going through, their own history, their own, dreams for the future, and their own obvious and present. And so finally, like I said, it took me 45 plus years to recapture my power and to say all these things. Like I just remember doing things, right? And I would do something, and I remember like looking over and just waiting for my dad to be proud of me, waiting for my grandma to be proud of me. And sometimes it would come and that felt great. And other times it went unnoticed. And I felt so devastated because, I worked really hard at this, and I just wanted them to say, you're good enough. I love you. I'm proud of you. Like, yay, you. And when that didn't happen, it was this huge blow to my heart, and I just would want to crumble. And I took those feelings going forward. Like, I remember one time, I had just gotten a job and I had a car, got a car. And I remember going to the store, and I had this whole idea that, I really loved HGTV because it was kind of just coming out, and I loved like PBS back then, like really throwing it back to y'all. Like PBS would have, these home improvement shows, and I was always drawn to it. I was always fascinated by it. Even at a young age, I would watch This Old House, and, my dad at one time did like a flip, he bought this house, and I was literally 9 years old, or maybe even younger, 8, something like that. And I was in there fully tiling a bathroom because I learned from watching This Old House, and I was like, oh, I know how to do this, and I was like, putting the spacers and everything. Like I needed a little help with the like mixing of the grout and stuff like that. But, I had the tiles laid. I even had the backsplash. Like my dad was like, wow, how'd you know how to do this? I was like, I watched it, and I like was so fascinated by it, and bettering something. Like I've always loved improving something, whether it be a recipe, a room, or anything like that. Like I work really good. Like I'm not good at like just starting an idea. Like that's not really my bread and butter. But if there's already this foundation and I just have to make a few little tweaks and improve it, that is where I shine. So like even when my daughter decorates, she's like, okay, mom, I got the thing here, but it needs your mom touch in there. And it's like, oh, okay, I got this. And then it's like, yes, because it's like, and I think what I love about that is it's a collaboration, right? It's a little bit of you, it's a little bit of me. It has your eye, but also my eye. And it makes just this really beautiful, thing that comes out in the end. And, but anyways, I digress as usual, but so I go to the store and I buy all these things. Like I went to multiple stores. I really wanted this like kind of ship themed bathroom. I must have seen it on some show or something. I had like the shells and like a kind of like a crab netting, and I had found pirate ship, like kind of like not really pirate ships, but like, ships that look like pirates, and they had the sails, and it just was this it was just cool. Like I thought it was so cool, right? So I spent my own money, I took my own time, I decorate the whole thing up, and I'm like a little kid, right? Like I still am a kid, right? I'm in my teenage years, but I'm giddy, right? Like I'm sitting on our stairs, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for my dad to come home and see the new carpets and the new, bathroom and how cool it looks and everything. And he's supposed to come out of the bathroom, and he is supposed to like, oh my gosh, this is the most beautiful bathroom I've ever seen in my life. Like, wow, Natasha, you outdid yourself. Oh my gosh, like you're a queen, you're a hero. Walks in, goes to the bathroom, walks out, didn't notice. And I sat on those stairs absolutely devastated and crushed. Like I was in disbelief. And I was like, how can this be? Like, I don't understand. Like you had to pump your soap with like this new nautical themed soap. And you're male, and when you went to the bathroom, you had to stand, and when you stood, you had to see the ship that was in the back of the toilet. And then when you dried your hands, like You had to see the towels with the gold, like I had this whole thing braided onto them. Like you couldn't have missed it. It was screaming in your face. What happened? Like, how did this go so wrong? And I said, okay, well, he just came home from work, right? He just needs a little time. You know, maybe he's still decompressing from his day. So we go into the kitchen, you know, it's cooking time. We're talking and all these things like this. And later on, he goes back to the bathroom, and I run back to the stairs because when the way our staircase was, it was like kind of a curved staircase, and there was a bathroom right here. And I sat on the stairs because I wanted to see his face, like almost like, you know, when I want to see my kids, like when it's Christmas time, I always go downstairs first, and I want to see their faces as I walk down the stairs. And I wanted to see his face, and he came out. And he came out, and it was just like any old day. And I just began sobbing. I was like, he couldn't have missed it this time. He either doesn't like it, doesn't care. And I took that as he doesn't care for me. I took that as he doesn't like me. I had a real rough night. Like, it was a real rough night of just crying and disbelief and not understanding. And I felt so stupid. I felt very stupid. Why would I put so much time and energy into fixing a bathroom for him? And he doesn't even say thank you or show any appreciation or even notice. Or if he did notice, he didn't like it. And how could he not like it? Does that mean he doesn't like me? Am I bad? Am I wrong for thinking this looks absolutely amazing? And I would walk into the bathroom, but I would smile. But now I had this tainted feeling to it, like it was a shadow over this work. And I really just wanted his approval. I wanted his pride. I wanted, you know, and I did it for the intention, you know, at the time I was thinking, you know, I just want to say thank you for like raising us. Cause you know, he was young and he was always like, I don't have to raise you. And, you know, I could be like your mom. And if it wasn't for you guys, I'd be off on some yacht and yada, yada, yada. And so it really gave me this sense of like, number one, we're kind of on borrowed time. I already had one parent leave, so it's not out of the realm of possibilities that parent number 2 is going to leave, whether on his own thing or he does a lot of reckless crap. Like, there's a lot of drinking and driving. There's a lot of alcohol and drugs. Like, there's a lot of going on here. You know, it isn't the poster child of health going on here. And so I was aware of that. And so, you know, whether it be by his own, you know, intentional doing or unintentional doing, like, he can be gone. And so I need to be like I am indebted to him. And so, you know, like I really, you know, wanted to do this as like a kind of a thank you and, you know, make the house like, you know, we had pinball machines and, you know, it was just very, you know, an upper scale bachelor pad, you know, so I really wanted to bring in, you know, as I was embracing my own femininity, I wanted to bring some of that and incorporate that into this really masculine dominated home. And I didn't say anything for a long time. You know, my dad could kind of tell. My dad and I were very close, and, you know, he would always just kind of feel uncomfortable when I was in my ways. He was probably like, okay, she's just, you know, PMS and that stuff's here. That's a thing, you know, he probably didn't know what was going on. And he, you know, I remember him being like, everything good? I'm like, yeah, yes, you know, I'm fine. You know, I didn't want to really talk about it. I didn't have the vocabulary. I didn't have the confidence. You know, I didn't feel safe in order to express to him. And then something happens, you know, I get in an argument, something happened. And I remember this, I don't know what the something was, but I remember like in the midst of like 10 things that I was spewing out, like lava of the mouth, right? I was like, and you didn't even notice the bathroom and you never said thank you. And it's been like a whole week. And you never said thank you, never said anything. And he was like, well, I never asked for it in the first place. And, you know, instead of just kind of hearing me or any, like, he was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks fine. Like, thank you, but I didn't want it. I didn't need it. And it just broke my heart. Like, it broke my spirit. And so again, like, I bring that to like, as a realization now, how much I had outsourced who I was, how much I had outsourced like somebody feeling proud instead of me feeling pride and like honor and focusing on how I felt about doing something that I wanted to do. I was waiting for somebody else to show up in a certain way that I never even articulated to them, this is how I want to have shown I need you to show up as. And then again, it was for years, like in years, that same scenario played out, whether it be I got my hair cut, whether it be I got a new outfit, whether it be I cleaned something up. It was like I was constantly waiting for that validation, that you good girl, good job, from somebody else, instead of feeling it from the inside out. And now I feel the love, I feel the worthiness, and I feel the pride from within. Like, good job, Natasha. Like, honestly, good job. And do I always? Yeah, no, there's times I still sink kind of back and I feel myself like, oh, but this person didn't notice I got a new haircut, or, I have a new perfume and it smells, and then I'm like, wait, hold on. Wait a second here. We are not outsourcing anymore. This is an in-house process. And in-house, girl, I love the way you smell. Girl, your hair be looking cute today. Girl, I love this outfit on you. It looks great. You feel great in this one. You know what? You cleaned up the house and it looks amazing. You have decluttered that garage and it looks great. And every time I walk in the garage, I feel pride. I'm not waiting for Chris or the kids or a neighbor or somebody else to be like, good job, to tell me I did a good job. I'm here telling me I did a good job. And that is so critical. That realization is critical, because that realization is what gets me to get up and do my steps every day. It's what gets me up to make my bed every day. It's what gets me up to go be the mom I want to be every day. That personal inner pride is what motivates and propels me forward. And it doesn't stop me in my tracks. Whereas before, I would take 2 steps and then wait for somebody to say something to me, like, come on, can you notice me. Forget that. They're not capable. They're living their own life and having their own experience. And that doesn't mean your hair doesn't look good. And that doesn't mean you didn't do a great job decluttering. But did you do it for them? Because if they're your why, then that's not sustainable. That's not going to be a part of your day-to-day existence that is motivated by making yourself proud. It's not. It will lead you to disappointment. It will lead you to feeling of unworthiness. I've been there. I've done it. I've experienced it both ways now. And I know I can go back anytime and outsource away my life, outsource away my love, outsource away my pride, people feeling proud of me. It's all within you. And I never got that. Like, I'd hear it, right? I'd hear it. Oh, all the love you want is inside you. What? No, it's not. I don't even like myself, let alone love myself. What is love? Who is love? I don't even know. I'm so confused. And it's a process. It's not like suddenly one day you're like, oh my gosh, like, I'm just going to start loving me. Yeah, that sounds great. You got to start showing up for yourself. It's got to start small. And I reiterate this over and over and over. I have this girlfriend and she was at the gym last night and she's like, I've been really wanting to start this bar. So it's been for a few weeks saying she's going to start the bar class. And I'm like, great. And so she's like, I'm going to do it tomorrow morning. And I'm like, here's the deal. She's like, so what do I need to set up? I'm like, you need the mat, you need these. I'm like, don't even deal with the weights. Like, honestly, they're 2-pound weights and that seems really light. But the importance is get your form. Like, get it right. Build the confidence without the weights. And then as you're stronger, as you have the resilience, as you have the, you can now incorporate more. You don't have to start where everybody else who's been doing this for 2 years is at. You are on your own journey at your own pace. And so then I had another girlfriend who came up and she's like, oh my gosh, this core section. And she's like, I saw you were able to just do the full sit up to this and I can't, and it hurts. And I said, listen, here, she's like, I can barely move like a centimeter. And I'm like, go 1 centimeter. Your goal then next week is 2 centimeters. And that might take you 2 months to get to the 2 centimeters, and that's okay. You may not be where I'm at, but I've done this for a couple of years now. And so, yes, I was you. And if I would have constantly put myself in the position where I felt inferior because I didn't get to where somebody else was that's been doing it, or is younger, or has a different body, or mechanics or build or whatever, if I constantly compared myself to that person, I wouldn't have showed up. I would have been like, I'm a failure, I'm not good enough, instead of being so proud of the fact that I got up 1 centimeter. Like, that is good. We are on the goal of making progress, and we don't need to make our goals so ginormous that we go from here to here, because guess what? We're going to quit. Like for me, at least that's what's going to happen. Why am I going to sustain something that's torturous, that I am a failure at in my eyes? No, reach yourself with the compassion. Reach yourself with the fact that I am proud I showed up today. Like I gave my 100% of today for today. That's what I can do. You know what? In comparison to other days, it might have been a 50. In comparison to other days, it might have been 150, right? So it's meeting yourself day by day. This life that creates a life that we're proud of, it's a day by day process. We are reborn every morning or night, whatever it is you wake up, and you have this clean slate. And you have all these experiences that you have that you can take with you, and you can copy and paste them all you want, or you can adapt and you can pivot and say, you know what? I really want to grow. I really want to be better. How can I start practicing that in some small dose? And for me, every time that I've tried to bite off more than I can chew has been imminent failure. I've felt terrible. I've put too much pressure on myself. I've hurt myself physically, emotionally, mentally, emotionally, spirit. It's not sustainable for me. Small doses and without a timeline. Without that added pressure, if I need to get this done by this time, I need to lose this weight, like focusing on the outcome. I keep talking to you about my relationship with Chris right now and where we're at. And if I was to say where we're going to be, and we're going to remarry in 3 years, and we're going to have this, listen, I don't know where we're going to be. He doesn't know where we're going to be. I know where we are today. I know that we have a long history, and we can take that and copy and paste it, which at that point, I'm out. Like, I am not interested in being who we were 6 months ago. I'm out. That's not, listen, I am not in the business to torture myself or him or my kids or the family as a whole. I'm in the business to show up who I can today without any expectations of what the outcome will be. What I know is where I am right now. And if I put all my energy on what will be, I will lose sight of what is. So I say all this to say, when we outsource these really critical components of our core foundation to other people, we are really doing ourselves a disservice. The whole foundation of our growth begins with I. It begins with yourself. It's making you proud. It's loving you. And none of this is selfish. None of this is wrong. None of this means you're a narcissist. Like, there's so much vocabulary and terminology around all these things, and it's just noise. Be kind to you. Be good to you. Take care of you. And yes, that may mean the more you gain of yourself, the more you release and lose, other relationships, and that's okay. Because the ones that are meant to be will either come back or they will grow stronger. They will love you because they see that you are showing up as the best version of you. And inevitably, that is going to have a positive effect on that relationship, even though on the onset, it may mean that they have to now step up and do things that they don't want to do, or they have to, see you grow, and they have some reflection on the fact that they're possibly not growing, and that can make them feel uncomfortable. So with all change, it doesn't come without pain. Like, change is hard. When we grow, when we're kids, we have growing pains. Like, when we change a job, it's disarray, right? But beautiful things come from it. So don't allow the pain or discomfort to be what stops you. Keep going, and keep going in slow, consistent movements and actions. So I say all this to say, oh my gosh, I am so proud of you. I am proud of you for not abandoning yourself. And I know my pride for you is just a cherry on top. My love for you, it's just a cherry on top. What matters most is how you feel about yourself. So begin today to give yourself a little bit of self-care, or continue to give yourself some self-care, some love, some grace, some nurturing. And remember, everything you seek from the outside is within you. So I say all this to say, please go out there today, give somebody a big smile, give them a compliment, and just watch how they glow up. So thank you. Bye.